Hi everyone, I'm DarkFluo, an amateur game developer who thought of a fun idea for a new game to make. And today, I want to kickstart a series of videos where I'll be sharing the process of creating said game. In this video, I'll be explaining the idea behind the game and I give a quick overview of how it will all play out. Food Game, placed on the title, is a roguelike twin-stick shooter based around using food to battle. In the game, you'll be controlling a cute cat who's also a chef. You'll be exploring a sprawling landscape while fighting enemies using dishes you've cooked yourself. You'll also run a restaurant where you can sell dishes and chat with customers. Before we get into the meat of things, I want to talk visuals, as I find it very important that we can all visualize the style of the game before imagining how it will all play out. The visuals of the game will be quite simple, with clear outlines and simple colors. That way, I can achieve a relaxing visual ambience. That will also be very practical, as I am not a very good artist. For the foreground elements, that is, the characters, the enemies, the weapons, the item, anything that is interactable, I will use a thick black outline with vibrant pastel colors. That way, gameplay elements will pop out, allowing the player to easily identify them. Background elements will look pretty similar, but the colors will be toned down and the outlines will be made out of a darker version of the main color. This keeps the focus on foreground elements and will hopefully look quite pleasant. Now that we're all on the same page, let's talk gameplay. The game will take place in a big country with different biomes and structures to explore. A run will be one continuous level with no transitions whatsoever. Doors gone, teleporters reworked, changing biomes dynamic. Think of it as one endless screen, with no cuts or visual transitions. I think that's pretty original and should look quite nice, as well as making the world feel like one big place. General gameplay will be pretty similar to other twin-stick shooter roguelike. Enter a room, kill all the enemies, proceed. You'll get items, materials and money by exploring and solving challenges. You'll encounter choices and dilemmas that can give you a boost with a small risk. Classic stuff. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, I just mixed things up a bit with an interesting gimmick, and that gimmick comes in the form of an interesting combat mechanic. So what do I mean by using food in combat? Well, in Food Game, you'll be using dishes in a couple of ways. Firstly, cooked meals will work like in any other games. Consuming food will heal you and give you a little buff. Each food will give a unique status effect and fill certain bars, like health or health. I haven't quite had a more in-depth thinking session about the detail of eating food. For example, eating spicy food will make the character spit fire, like the curry item in Super Smash Bros. Eating cold food will freeze you in a cube of ice, in which you'll be flinged all around the room, slipping on the ground like a DVD logo. Now, eating food is great, but you're not gonna get very far like that. That's why food can be used more aggressively. During a run, you'll get to cook fresh meals, which you'll then use as weapons to kill enemies. How? Well, let's take a look at two dishes and see how they would work. Pizza is a ranged weapon, meaning you'll throw a projectile that will damage enemies untouched. When pushing the stick, you'll determine an invisible axis that will be important later. After that, you can take all your time to aim the stick and choose the throwing angle between -45 degrees and 45 degrees from the original axis. Finally, when you release the stick, the pizza will be thrown in its last position, arc around in front of the player, pick on the previously set axis and loop around back to the player like a boomerang. The wider the arc, the bigger the range. It'll be easier to hit enemies with a straight throw, but you won't get much range, while a full 90 degrees throw will allow you for a massive range, but it won't be easy to use. Spaghettis are a charged weapon, which means the longer you'll pull the stick, the more powerful the attack gets. When pushing the stick, you'll start charging the attack. You'll have all the time you want to adjust the angle, and when you're ready, release the stick to throw multiple squiggly projectiles in a wide angle, like a shotgun full of pasta. And of course, the longer you charge, the more powerful your projectiles get. Now, there isn't just one type of pizza, and it's the same for many foods. There are variants that depends on the ingredients used and the way you make the dish. In food game, that will be pretty crucial as weapons will be able to be modified depending on the ingredients used. For example, when using pepperoni pizza, the front projectile will create smaller ones while arcing that deal big amounts of damage, while cheese pizza will throw big strings of molten cheese, hitting many targets but dealing low damages. Using the right ingredients can change how you use your weapon and make them more powerful. Using food as weapons and ways to heal also adds some strategy. Do you use precious ingredients to make low damage dishes that heal a lot? And also, healing means using weapons, so you're encouraged to play as sharply as possible. Now, imagine you are in a bit of a predicament. You see, you don't have any dishes left to attack enemies. What do? Well, you still have something in your pocket, and desperate situations require desperate measures. When out of food, you can throw ingredients at your enemies, dealing minimal damage, but allowing you to finish the job until your next cooking spot. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about the cooking spots, have I? During a run, you'll encounter many campfires. You can use these to cook new meals with the ingredients you previously obtained, filling your bag with new weapons to beat up enemies. Speaking of which, why are you fighting them? Okay, all of this is a work in progress, and no, will change during development. But I've had some time to think about the lore, and here's what I got. You are a young chef venturing to this faraway kingdom to save it from the grasp of an evil foe which steals the cooked dishes from inhabitants, leaving them to starve. These inhabitants became hostile due to the lack of food and resort to attacking travelers for their cooked meals. While playing, you'll face many of them, and your goal is to calm them by feeding them delicious pizzas, delightful T-bone steaks, and many more. Thankful for your help, the calm inhabitants will drop useful ingredients like tomatoes, flowers, and oil, which you can use to cook more meals at cooking spots. But be careful. If you get knocked unconscious, the angry mob will steal all your cooked goods, but will leave you with your ingredients. It's up to you to decide whether you will cook all your ingredients into food or keep some for when you eventually lose the run. Between runs, you'll be going back to your restaurant with all the ingredients you haven't used during your run. You can use them to cook new meals to sell to customers, but there are lots of other things you can do in there. Chat with clients to level up your relationships and get quests for future run, decorate your restaurant to your heart's content, upgrade your character for future runs, or simply chill at a table with a latte. The shop serves as a resting place between runs, a calm environment in which to enjoy life. Well, it seems that wraps it up for this devlog. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'd like to know what you think of the game. I'm gonna have a lot of fun making it, and I can't wait to get the final product for you guys to play. In many months, that is. Before you leave, I'd like to talk to you a bit more about this YouTube channel. It's only fair after all, this is my first video. Here, I'll be making varied content for you to enjoy. What you can generally expect are devlogs and let's plays, but I'll also post other things I'm working on over the years. I'm not gonna ask that much, but if that sounds fun to you, consider subscribing to be notified when I eventually release part 1 of this series. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.